Laba Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Jaya Prajajanarajana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Prajajanarajana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Jaya Prajajanarajana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hariva, 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 Gaura Hariva. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Acharya Stotra Srimad Abhaicha Naravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya BBT founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vishnupada Paramahamsa Acharya Stotra Srimad Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinda ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, chapter 75, entitled Duryodhana Humiliated. Text 31 to 33. 33 has a purport, and we will to the responsive chanting this. So verse 31. Ekadāntaḥ-pure tasya vīkṣya duryodhana śriyam atapyad rājasūyasya mahitvam cācyutātmanaḥ. One day, Duryodhana, while observing the riches of King Yudhiṣṭhira's palace, felt greatly disturbed by the magnificence of both the Rājasūya sacrifice and its performer, the king, whose life and soul was Lord Acyuta. Text 32. Yasmim snarendra tichi jendra surendra lakshmi Nana vibanti kila vishwa shijo paklipta Tabi patin drupata raja suto patashte Yasyam vishakta ridaya kururat atapyat. Translation. In that palace, all the collected opulences of the kings of men, demons and gods were brilliantly manifest, having been brought there by the cosmic inventor, Mahārāja. With those riches, Draupadi served her husbands, and Duryodhana, the prince of the Kurus, lamented because he was very much attracted to her. 33. Yasmin tada madhupate mahisi sahasram Sroni barena shanakai kwanat angrishobam Madhye sucharu kucha kunkuma shonaharam Shriman mukam prachalakunda lakuntaladyam. Please chant.
Yasmin tada madhupater mahishi sahasram Yasmin tada madhupater mahishi sahasram Ni barena sakatvanat vishobam Shoni barena sakatvanat vishobam Madhye suchar chakumas shonaharam Madhye suchar chakumas shonaharam Yasmin tada madhupate mahishi sahasram Yasmin tada madhupate mahishi sahasram Sroni barena sakai konatam vishobam Sroni barena sakai konatam vishobam Madhye suchar kuchakum kumasonaharam Shriman mukam prachalakundalakum
Mighty Jesus.
Yasmin tada madhupate mahishi sahasram Shoni barena sanakai konatam vishobam Madhye suchar kuchakum kumashonaharam
Shriman mukam prachalakunda lakuntaladyam. Mighty Jesus. Yasmin tada madhupate mahishi sahasram.
Shoni varena sankai matanam vishobham. Mahesh jaru kuchakun kumashonamaram. Śrīyam Yasmin Jadam Pate Manishi Sasam Shoni Varena Sanakai Vanam Rishobham Made Sucharu Kuchakunkum Shonamaram
Yasmin, in which Tada, at that time, Madhu of Mathura, Patehe of the Lord, Mahishi, the queens, Sahasram, thousands, Shroni, of their hips, Bharena, with the weight, Shanakai, slowly, Kwanat, tinkling, Angri, of whose feet, Shobham, the charm, Madhye, at the middle, the waist, Sucharu, very attractive, Kucha, from their breasts, Kunkuma, with the kumkum powder, Shona, reddened, Haram, whose pearl necklaces, Srimad, beautiful, Mukam, whose faces, Prachala, moving, Kundala, with earrings, Kuntala, and locks of hair, Adyam, richly endowed. Translation and purport by the servants of Srila Prabhupada. Lord Madhupati's thousands of queens were also staying in the palace. I'll start with text 31. Translation again. One day, Duryodhana, while observing the riches of King Yudhiṣṭhira's palace, felt greatly disturbed by the magnificence of both the Rājasūya sacrifice and its performer, the king, whose life and soul was Lord Acyuta. In that palace, all the collected opulences of the kings of men, demons, and gods were brilliantly manifest, having been brought there by the cosmic inventor Mahārāja. With those riches, Draupadi served her husbands, and Duryodhana, the prince of the Kurus, lamented because he was very much attracted to her. Lord Madhupati's thousands of queens were also staying in the palace. Their feet moved slowly, weighed down by their hips, and the bells on their feet tinkled charmingly. Their waists were very slender. The kumkum from their breasts reddened the pearl necklaces, and their swaying earrings and flowing locks of hair enhanced the exquisite beauty of their faces. Purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, after looking at such beauties in the palace of King Yudhiṣṭhira, Duryodhana became envious. He became especially envious and lustful upon seeing the beauty of Draupadi, because he had cherished a special attraction for her from the very beginning of her marriage with the Pandavas. In the marriage selection assembly of Draupadi, Duryodhana had also been present, and with other princes he had been very much captivated by the beauty of Draupadi, but he had failed to achieve her. Om Ajnānatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapara Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langaite Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarin Paramadamadam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki. So firstly, I would like to thank the devotees of ISKCON Vrindavan for giving me the opportunity to render service in Shri Vrindavan Dham, try to say some words on the Srimad Bhagavatam. I'd like to beg for the blessings of all the senior Vaishnavas assembled here and Vaishnavis, Srila Prabhupada disciples. Please look kindly upon me and hopefully I can say something that is worth our enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. We are being walked through an amazing scene in the Srimad Bhagavatam. We have heard from previous speakers about Duryodhana, and the theme is Duryodhana's enviousness. In this particular chapter, as preambled by Her Grace Daivi Shakti Mataji yesterday, that we are beginning to hear how Duryodhana embarrassed himself. He humiliated himself. He has been envious of the Pandavas from since they were young. The question is being asked by Parikshit Maharaj. He wants to understand that at the Rājasūya sacrifices, the different demigods, the sages, the family members, everyone was delighted to be in such a joyous occasion, except Duryodhana. So what was the reason? When there's a big kirtan, a big celebration, everyone is jumping and singing, and then you see one devotee by a corner looking a little miserable. One may be concerned to find out, Prabhuji, Mataji, in such revelry and in such festivity, how come you are not delighted? How come you are not happy? So Parikshit Maharaj narrates that Duryodhana, first of all, when the services were being volunteered, because everyone is acting based on their voluntary spirit. It said bhakti is susukam katumavyayam. It should be joyfully performed. So different persons, according to their propensities, took services, like Bhima. Bhima was in charge of the kitchen services because he has an interest in prasadam. So he has to make sure that everything is according to the need. What service did Duryodhana pick? He went to observe the treasury. Now, that's his interest. He likes riches and opulences. However, that treasury does not belong to him. And all it did was aggravate his already existing envy, just seeing how much opulences Yudhiṣṭhira has. Even if I tried, what allies could I assemble to acquire such wealth? And so his heart is boiling with envy. Contrast Duryodhana to Krishna. What is Krishna's service? Krishna is washing the lotus feet of all assembled. Now, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He could wear that, he could have a cap. I am God, take note. And he could walk around with a particular spring in his step. He is God Almighty. But his mood is not to lord it over everyone. But his mood is to serve his devotees. And that is what pleases him. So we are getting insight into the heart of the Lord. What pleases the Lord? To serve his devotees. And the Lord is exemplifying in what mood we should serve. In humility. Being the servant of the servant of the servant of the devotees. We are moved by our desires in this world. Our desires can either liberate us or can further incriminate us in bondage in this world. And we're seeing in Duryodhana not a strange desire. We're familiar with this desire for riches, money, influence, power. To be that man, to be that woman, to be number one. Now, he has cultivated this desire stemming from his own father, who, born blind, Dhritarashtra, wanted the kingdom but was disqualified by his blindness. So he thought, also, I'm the eldest son, I should be next. The desire has been growing. In childhood, Bhima made him feel very small, because when they would wrestle or when they would fight, Bhima would pulverize him, neutralize him, make him feel tiny. So he resented that. When it came to archery, Arjuna is unparalleled. And so Duryodhana is envious. He was so envious of Bhima, he conspired to poison him. Oh, you like to eat? Okay? We'll organize a very nice cake. It's so nice, it is deadly nice. Poison was there. Bhima ate the cake, overate the cake even. And then he thought he was going to drown, but by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, no, he only became stronger, became empowered. Now can you imagine how Duryodhana felt? Those who play chess, when you think it's checkmate, some checkmates have a big smile because you think it's all done. Only to find out that no, you will be checkmated. So this is embarrassing. And I want to pick up on this word embarrassment. Material existence means we are constantly being embarrassed. We are divine beings, we belong in the spiritual world where our desires are fulfilled. The land of Chintamani. Everything that is desired by the living entity for the service of Krishna is fulfilled. Now we are in this material world. in a situation where everyone also wants to fulfill their own desires. Therefore, competition. Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport of Bhagavatam how material existence necessarily means competition for material resources. And because of that competition, it creates envy. Look like you have like 3 bead bags, while I have just 1. Huh? What is this? I'm chanting the same mantra as you, wearing same color as you. Why 3 bead bags? No, not you, Prabhu, don't worry. I don't mean it. But thank you. Illustrating the point, who are you to look at me and my bead bags? What does it concern you? So competition, envy arises. Then envy means not only do I think the bead bags are nice, because that's the truth. Means we appreciate whatever it is we envy in others. We don't envy people's faults. Like you play Mridanga, Prabhu. If you hear my playing, you don't feel like, oh, I wish. Huh? Instead, you think maybe he should move to this temple and we can teach him Mridanga. But if I play like a virtuoso, and then who is this guy? Where is he from? In Africa, do they teach drum like this? It's a natural response of being in this mature world. The influence of the modes are such that we naturally feel some competition, because the modes themselves are always competing for dominance. So they influence us with this mood to try and outdo each other. So Duryodhana is not just there alone suffering, but Duryodhana lives within us, because we are also suffering and embarrassed by the fire of envy in our own hearts. If we note that envy means basically we are noting something good, then rather let's take shelter of that. Let us glorify when we see something wonderful. Because I think your drumming is good. Instead of trying to pull you down, the right attitude is to lift you up. Lift up the qualities which are reflected in you. Krishna says, I'm the ability in man. Then immediately we are Krishna conscious. Krishna says, all the vibhutis, the opulence, the beauty of this world, they're just, ekam senastito jagat, I pervade the whole world with just a fragrance. And I am the owner of all these opulences. Basically, when we see ability, let us see Krishna. Let us glorify. When you think of Lord Krishna, he is unlimited in his glories. It is said, Anantashesh, with his thousands of mouths, he is God himself. His dedication is to glorify Krishna. And he has not seen the horizon of the limit of Krishna's qualities. So the scope of glorifying the Lord and glorifying the devotees who Krishna's qualities are reflected through, even the non-devotees, so-called non-devotees, they are part and parcel of Krishna. Mama vangso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Also there we can find the reflection of Krishna's qualities. So envy can be kicked out, and we can become glorifiers of the Lord by noting the qualities of the Lord reflected in his living entities. Srila Prabhupada has said about this ISKCON movement that it should be a society for non-envy. Vaikuntha means no difficulties, no sense gratification, only devotional service. That means the center is established. It is the Lord whom we are meant to satisfy, please. And so, as the example goes, the boys are by the lake, and they are throwing rocks into the lake. And they throw at a particular point and they get very nice concentric circles. It's like a beautiful show on the lake. And then here comes one boy thinking, what is this conformist? You know, nobody has some initiative here. I will do it my own way. He starts to throw at a different place. So he also gets some waves, some circles, but they start to clash with the beautiful waves that were formed by the boys throwing their rocks at the same place. So harmony in the spiritual world. Material world means disharmony. Everyone trying to be the center. We're trying to imitate God. And Prabhupada switched it around. Said, not God, but dog. This is our Acharya challenging us. Hey, who do you think you are? Reminding us, by this attitude of thinking we are God in this mature world, we become embarrassed and become like dogs. We have set up a system in this mature world, how we qualify each other. It's called education. It's very valuable, Yukta Vairagya principle. But when we look at it, devoid of engagement in Krishna consciousness, is that living beings are being trained how to become qualified in the temporary world, in some sort of ignorance, certified at UCLA, certified at Cambridge. And then Prabhupada says after that you get a piece of paper and then you have to go and knock at different doors to beg like a dog. And the employer sometimes says, "Hi, get out of here, no employment." No, but I work well in groups, I'm very cooperative, I don't mind extra hours. No. Or, don't call us, we'll call you. We'll get back to you. They let you down in some very nice way. Embarrassed. How many years of tapasya, going to school? How much money has been spent? Now you have been qualified, you got the cap, you have the pictures. Hut! So mature nature is set up to disappoint the living being. No matter how much we build it up, we may envy others, right? We see someone driving some big car. Immediately, who is he to drive such a car? Or, oh, I wish I was that person, I wish I had such a car. You automatically think material trappings means happiness. And you don't know that this person, maybe in the next bend, he's thinking to just drive this thing off the road, end his life. Big comedians. There's a famous one, some of you may know him. His name escapes me. He was a depressed individual. Eventually he committed suicide. Who remembers his name? We can benefit. Rob Williams. He's being benedicted in Vrindavan. He gets a chance. His name is entertaining millions, envied by millions, very witty, on point. But internally, he was suffering, struggling. His own life was not a joke, was not comedy. Modes of nature were not favorable. He was suffering. Eventually, he ended his life. Now imagine the envy of millions. Whoever is envying him, all of a sudden shocked. What? My icon. He was so intelligent, so happy. That is because on the material platform, there is no happiness. The happiness that we get is just the mixture of the modes. It's sweet rice with some sand in it. Just when you try to chew nicely, there's saffron in it. Stone. Krishna. When will my turn come to enjoy? I mean, it's a feast. Sweet rice. I left it for last. So happiness exists though, otherwise we would be crazy and more than crazy to look for it. Where do we know of unending happiness? Why would we look for it if we have not experienced it? People look for things like that, unconditional love. It's a laughable name in the material world, unconditional love. What do you mean unconditional? Prabhupada told us the closest you can get to that is the mother's love for the child. And even that, those who are analytical and skeptical can find fault there. We won't go into it. But the living being still demands unconditional love or looks for it. That is because we have experience of unconditional love in our eternal position as spiritual beings. That is our birthright. That is the environment of the spiritual world. So, by giving up the mood of envy, we create Vaikuntha, we create the spiritual sky. And therefore, we are able to access that which we are looking for in terms of unconditional love in devotional service. Where we're looking for friends who will not backstab us. Imagine that experience. Something good happens, finally, and you want to share it with your friends. Only to find out, this guy was so angry. Useless guy. How come they made him a guru? Srila Prabhupada tells of the Bengali man who was seen to be sitting as a high court judge. Someone came back to the village. I saw so-and-so. He's sitting at high court. Nah, it wasn't him. No, I saw him, it was him. He must not have been presiding over any case. No, he sat and he passed judgment. Envy. So here, we are always going to get disappointed one way or the other. So if we are intelligent, we should side with the liberated souls. They're telling us, this is rigged. It will not work. It has not worked. And what is the solution? Bhaktyamama janati. Yavanyasmi chatota. Serve Krishna. Now, Duryodhana, before we go, he is particularly now envious also of Draupadi. He desired to marry her. So he appreciated her, all her qualities, her beauty, her character. Therefore he wanted to marry her. What happened at the Swayamvar? The qualification was that they had to string this powerful bow and then shoot the eye of a fish by looking at a reflection of it somewhere. Duryodhana stepped up. He couldn't even string the bow. Now, big Duryodhana, he's come there with all his personal estimation of himself, and he can't even string the bow. Then his friend Kana, who may have redeemed him, when he stepped up, Draupadi immediately said, no, I will not accept this Sutaputra. He is not qualified. A blow, bang. And just when you thought that was sad, then some Brahmana, pseudo-Brahmana, disguised Brahmana, steps up, strings the bow, looks at the reflection, shoots and nails the eye of the fish. Everyone is shocked. What Brahmana has such Kshatriya prowess? Who is it? Arjuna. God, can the universe be against me? So, try to feel his suffering. When all of that happened, and still, somehow or the other, when everyone left the Rājasūya, he's seen how fantastic it was. He stayed behind. He went to the palace. Now this palace is Maya Sabha, Maya Danava, celestial architect, decked it out. We're going to hear about it, so I will not get into that. How it was so first class, beyond first class, according to our understanding. And with all this opulence, the girl of his dreams is engaging it to serve his enemies. Dagger right through the heart. Bang. You are attracted to her still. You know the sour grapes? The monkeys jumping for the grapes. I cannot get them. They're useless. Anyway, they're sour. He couldn't enjoy, he's frustrated. He has to philosophize. Now they were sour. Now Duryodhana, he cannot do that. We have that experience that, the heart speaks a different language. Once one is affected by this love, lust dynamic of this world, it's hard to give it up. So there's the girl of his dreams. He couldn't qualify to get her. His friend couldn't. And now she's there serving his enemies with the best opulence. Opulence is never seen. So this is crushing his heart, but he's keeping a bold face. Isn't it? That's what we do. People say, how is it going? It's all good, man. It's all good. I'm great. Yet we are crying, suffering, punished by Maya in this material world. So, like children, we were at the Yamuna yesterday, the son of one of the devotees. He's a Rājasūya. There's a deity of Krishna bathing in the Yamuna, was put there. The parents are sort of giving abhishek to the deity. The boy comes and he's feeling a little like, why all this attention to? So he kind of pushes the Krishna deity over. The mother immediately, bang, starts to cry, she's trying to cry, she splashes Jamuna water on his face. You think your tears are going to correct your activity? So, everyone wants to be center. But he's a Brajbasi, he's a good friendship with the Lord. I guess Krishna appreciated that he's not worshipping me like some big guy, he takes me as, why so much attention to you? I'm also important. So anyway, the child is crying, but is running back to the mother. She just gave him a smack. He's crying. You would think he'd rebel and run off, but he's crying and coming back, trying to hold tighter to the mother. And I was thinking, this is actually the devotee. This is the attitude I have to try and cultivate. That when we are feeling the pangs of material existence, the suffering, the embarrassment of material life, not that we get angry at Krishna, as most people are affected by that. Therefore, atheism was on the rise. Why did God create such a world? Why should people suffer like this? They presume innocence. Instead, we understand that Krishna is providing this suffering so that we are dissatisfied. We let go of our attachment to the temporary and we take shelter of Him. And therefore, that envious spirit which has brought us here becomes elevated into the spirit of surrender, of service. And this is the offering of Srila Prabhupada, a society of non-envy. How joyful will we be when we see our fellow devotees, knowing that each is part and parcel of Krishna, precious child of God, helping me to serve Krishna. And we honor that. Whatever qualities we are seeing that they are offering, we honor that. Then there is no envy. There is no pushing and shoving for artificial temporary positions. Instead, we are hoping to get even a small quality from those devotees in their particular attachments and abilities in serving Krishna. So Prabhupada wanted to give that even though the whole world may not become Krishna conscious, but if a small portion does, then it's such a powerful example for the world. Then as Kali Yuga is squeezing everyone, the devotees will be shining in their happiness. There will be completely different people will run to us to find out what is our formula. Because there will be no envy in the Sangha. There will be cooperation. there'll be devotion and there'll be love. So, glorious Duryodhana is teaching us this. And let us reflect on how we are also similarly afflicted. He told Shakuni, clearly, Shakuni as they are leaving, he's saying, you are sighing again and again. What's wrong? What's bothering you? I cannot tolerate to see how the Pandavas are lording over the whole world. How nobody even challenged them. Krishna killed Shishupal in the assembly. Nobody challenged that. What is this? He says, I'm burning in the fire of jealousy, rather I die. And he's honest. Something we keep and we burn inside. At least he revealed his heart to his associate. I'm suffering here. I'm jealous of them. Who can help me to turn the situation around? And Shakuni was like, yes, you're talking to the right person. I have a plan. So such friends as Shakuni, we don't need. And to be able to spot such friends, this is a blessing from Krishna. Kantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanandi.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. It also seems as though Prabhupada, when he was obviously successful and empowered and bringing devotees from all over the world here, maybe wasn't appreciated by some of his, or god brothers or other persons. They may have thought, well, he was a junior person, for Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. And so that same kind of maybe, envy may be there. And Prabhupada, he was very much open and very, open-hearted, wanting to engage and involve everyone. So why is it that sometimes envy keeps us from really seeing the accomplishments and the glory of the other person? Just like Yudhiṣṭhira was definitely accomplished and very much successful, but Duryodhana still had to envy it, Prabhupada became very successful and empowered by bringing Krishna consciousness all over the world, Chaitanya's mission, but still, sometimes others could not appreciate that.
Yes, it is the strength of this mature nature. Daiviyesha gunamai mama maya duradhyaya. That Maya is always covering the living being, It's that these two aspects of Maya. First it's covering, then it pulls us down. So in this situation, we see that many exalted God brothers, maybe they're successful in so many ways, scholarly, saintly, but sometimes, as Prabhupada noted, that there was envy, means some covering sometimes, because of the scale of the accomplishment. Sometimes we have some estimation of different individuals, and someone we just didn't think, him, he's grihasta, he's this and that, and then if they do such a wonderful thing, it's sort of natural that can be there. But later on, due to saintly qualities that exist there in the Vaishnavas, then everyone began to appreciate more and more. Sometimes it's thought is over endeavor. A devotee is inspired, wants to do some service somewhere. And another devotee just feels like, come on, man, why are you trying to waste time and resources? And it may come off, you're envious, but I want to do something. But if that service takes place and there's some success that can be perceived, then it becomes obvious that, okay, we underestimated the empowerment of Krishna. He can empower anyone that he wants. And we are left with the obvious thing to glorify, and Maya is very difficult.
Without going into the whole ISKCON history, but you're touching some points. And we're discussing about envy, but sometimes there can be lack of appreciation when people feel injustice, that some injustice have been done to them, and their service or their contribution has been pushed aside or diminished. So that, I think, is one of the big reasons that we've had a big difficulty in ISKCON. When Prabhupada left, people took responsibilities with a lot of immaturity, kind of went to their heads. Many of them ended up falling down from that. And it caused a ripple that we're maybe even up to today feeling it, unfortunately. So, like I said, I don't want to get into the whole politics of things, but I think we have to balance that off, And especially Westerners, we're really into that mindset of justice, Maybe not other countries have that so much, but in America and Canada, it's a big deal, that if you're not getting justice, everyone feels that I am entitled to justice. So when that is not there, it pains the heart. And in the story of Dhruva Maharaj, Prabhupada describes that when the heart's been shattered, it's very difficult to put it back together. So unfortunately, we did lose a lot of a lot of devotees, godbrothers, that somehow or other but that is the growing pain maybe of an institution like ISKCON, So luckily, fortunately, it's still being held together. But your points, I really appreciated your class. They're very nice points that you presented.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you for the class. A lot of great points. You ended the class by saying that, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I understood is that it's cooperation that we want, not envy.
Yes.
And so I was thinking how cooperation is a two-way street. In America, I remember seeing a bumper sticker on the back of a car, and it said, "I'm a very cooperative person. As long as you see things my way, we'll get along just fine." And so I was thinking, this topic of cooperation, it almost seems elusive, because generally, at least as a younger brahmachari, I was thinking, okay, cooperation means my senior knows everything and I know nothing, and whatever the senior devotee says, I must do. And if I even question, then I'm immediately thought to be an upstart. There's no such thing as, I believe in a perfect world, there is such a thing as loyal opposition. But sometimes it seems that if you even question, then you're considered Mahāparad. So the point I wanted to make is, I think it's really important for senior devotees, those who are in positions of, they have a position, official position in ISKCON, to be, Krishna has given us 2 ears and only 1 mouth. So we should be very eager to hear from the other devotees. Krishna may be speaking through them, just like CEOs of big corporations. They know that their receptionist is very important, because that receptionist is hearing the compliments, the critiques, and they can give very valuable feedback to the top CEO. And that's just a point I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Shiki Mahidi.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I was thinking of an example of how Prabhupada engaged us in the early days. We're not pure devotees, so we have to kind of, take our propensities and use them in Krishna's service. So especially in America, they're very competitive. So generally competitiveness makes you want to be envious. But yet, when Prabhupada would visit the temples in America, he couldn't visit all of them. So he would visit the ones where they sold the most books. So you can imagine how you felt, right? And I'm in Chicago and you're in Detroit, but Prabhupada's not coming to Detroit. So this competitiveness, it was kind of like, you would see each other and you would be a little bit, Prabhupada came to our temple, he didn't come to yours. And you might feel a little dejected or jealous. But it's kind of transcendental in that sense. Even now we have Kirtan Mela. Well, in 77, we had Kirtan contest. Remember that? In Mayapur. I don't know why we didn't think Kirtan Mela. Let's all come together and chant. No, we're going to have first prize, second prize, third prize. So it turned into a huge kind of, You don't remember that Panchagoda in 77? Yeah. I always think back to that all the time. We could have just had a Kirtan Mela, everybody chant together. But that competitive spirit was there so strong. And there's some envy and jealousy there. But it was all used in Krishna service. And as a result, all these books were distributed. And I'm looking up here at this Lakshmi given for Krishna Balaram temple. So Prabhupada kind of transcendentalized it. That's my point. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. And Srila Prabhupada is specifically able to engage all propensities and for success, yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So, Savyasachi Prabhu is the disciple of His Holiness Bhakticharu Swami Maharaj, and he is also a sannyas candidate. So, after waiting for 6 years as a sannyas candidate, he will be awarded sannyas this year in the month of May by His Holiness Bhaktidhir Damodar Swami Maharaj. So everyone please, Hare Krishna. Sorry? I wanted to mention it.
No, that's very nice.
Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaura Premanande.